So in the next game on the ever-growing list of games to come out chasing the Battle Royale market, Ubisoft has decided to release Hyper Scape, a free-to-play Battle Royale game developed by Ubisoft Montreal that is currently in its tech test. Players are able to get access by watching Twitch streamers and hoping for a drop, a mechanic that I am by no means a fan of. While I get why more and more games are using this model, having to use my PC or phone to boost stream numbers that I don't care about just to have a chance of playing the game leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not only that, it's not like watch X amount of hours and you automatically get a drop, it's all random. So while someone like me got really lucky and got a drop within the first 20 minutes of watching, I have friends that had to watch for 24 hours just to get a drop. Now most likely you're not going to actively watch for 24 hours, but even just the act of having to leave a stream up for 24 hours is pretty annoying. As more and more people have gotten the drops that they need, the numbers for this game have already fallen off a cliff on Twitch, so I am curious to see if it just ends up being irrelevant. Originally, after a few hours, I started to write this script and was extremely put off by the game. The time to kill was way too long, and my desire to play another Battle Royale way too low. But after giving it another chance and putting more hours into it, I am starting to warm up to the game a bit. It is by no means perfect, but it is a little bit of fun, so let's get into it. Hyper Scape is probably easiest described as some form of a Battle Royale mixed with an arena shooter that boasts extremely fast-paced action with a ton of mobility, which can be both very enjoyable at times and frustrating at others. Before we get into the meat of the game and talk about how all the gameplay elements work together, let's first talk about some of the things that make Hyper Scape unique, or at the very least, slightly change it up from the existing Battle Royale games. The first thing is the loot system. Unlike basically all Battle Royales that use some form of an armor shield system, Hyper Scape forgoes that completely for regenerating health. This is a change that I don't mind at all, as it gets rid of some of that early or even mid-game RNG, where you're up against someone that has better armor or shields than you. Another system that I think plays into the game having less RNG is the weapons. Hyper Scape only has 9 weapons, none of which have different variants or attachments. The way you upgrade them is just by picking up another of the same gun and merging them together. This will then increase the stats of the gun. The guns all feel very similar to what you would find in a Battle Royale normally, and all somewhat have their purpose, though there are some that are clearly overtuned. These weapons are your D-Tap, which is an auto-locking pistol, the Riot 1, which is Hyper Scape's wingman equivalent, or if you don't know what that is, it's just a revolver, the Mammoth MK1, which is a shotgun, the Ripper, which is the assault rifle of the game, the Protocol V, which is the sniper, the Hexfire, which is a minigun, the Salvo EPL, which is a grenade launcher, the Skybreaker, which is a rocket launcher-esque gun that shoots out very slow-moving energy orbs that do a ton of damage if they connect, and last, the Komodo, which is pretty similar to the grenade launcher, it just shoots out fast-moving projectiles that explode on impact. If you ever played Halo Reach, this gun kinda reminds me of the concussion rifle. Out of these, my favorite to use are going to be the Hexfire and the Protocol, as the Hexfire can really just melt people down in that close to medium range, and the Protocol is just fun to use because it's a sniper, and what game isn't fun to snipe in? Although in this game, the sniper appears to be completely hit scan, even at the longest of ranges, so you can connect pretty easily with people even if they're pretty far away on the map. With a fully upgraded sniper rifle, you can even take someone out in one shot. In a lot of cases, using a salvo is also pretty beneficial, as you can destroy people during enclosed combat with the grenades. Though to be fair, besides the D-Tap, I would say all the weapons seem pretty usable, though some clearly are stronger than others. To be fair though, it is a tech test, so chances they balance things out a little bit before launch are probably pretty likely. My only issue with the weapons so far is that without attachments or different variants, besides just the upgraded versions, most games end up playing out pretty similar as I try and pick up the same weapons. The game also forgoes regular utility and instead has hacks that you can find and upgrade on the map just like the weapons. The hacks provide you with various power-ups which either fall into what I would consider a defensive ability or a utility ability. These include the teleport, which allows you to teleport forward, the slam ability, which allows you to jump up really high into the air and then ground pound an area on the ground as you land, the heal ability, which puts an aura on the ground that you and your teammates can heal in, the wall ability, which allows you to place a wall, the invisibility ability, which allows you to turn invisible for a set amount of time, the mine ability, which allows you to place a mine, the armor ability, which allows you to become invincible for a set amount of time, the scanner ability, which allows you to scan through walls or ceilings to try and find your enemies, and lastly the ball ability, which allows you to turn into this big bouncy ball. These hacks combined with the game's very high time to kill are my main issue of contention. While using a combination of the slam and teleport to get all over the map can be pretty fun, chasing down someone with some of the mobility abilities and the armor ability is what I would consider the opposite of fun. What this leads to is in a lot of cases, you just end up chasing people around trying to clean up kills, as bailing from a fight you are unfavored in is often the best choice you can make. This is also exacerbated by the game's respawn system, which basically completely unincentivizes any need for you to stick around to save your teammates. As long as one of you lives, you can all end up back alive through a mixture of smart movement and slippery hack usage. So how this system works is once you die, unlike most games, you still have full control of your character, although you are unable to do any damage to people, use hacks, or destroy the orange things that cover doors and windows. All you can do is run around, and if you're playing with a coordinated squad, you could call up for your teammates or even scout ahead, as you can't be shot or anything by your enemies. Now to respawn, what you do is you hit these respawn points on the map, and then your alive teammates come over and activate them, bringing you back up on the spot. These respawn points are dropped on the map every time a player dies and stay there until either used or that section of the map falls away. To me, this makes running away from an unfavorable fight often the correct play, as you can usually find plenty of points to respawn your teammates away from the action, or if you catch someone off guard, a quick kill can drop a point right where you are. I also honestly don't find this system very fun as a dead person. Now I might be the opposite of most people, but running around basically unable to do anything isn't my definition of fun, and I'd almost rather just watch my teammates play. This has helped a bit if you're playing with your friends or in a squad that's pretty talkative, as you can call out for them, but if you're just solo queuing into squads and nobody is talking, being dead is very unfun. All you really end up doing is running around chasing after your teammates trying to find a respawn point. Like I mentioned, the respawn points do go away as the map falls off, and if you're curious what I meant by that, basically this game, instead of using a ring type system, different sections of the map will get shut off over time until you reach the final area. As these areas get shut off, all the buildings and scenery in them will crumble until it's just open space. I will admit, the areas look pretty cool as the buildings begin to crumble down. While I do like this mechanic of map shrinking over a ring system, the map leaves a lot to be desired. There are various parts of the map that are clearly different, but so much of the map looks exactly the same, and it even seems like the same buildings were copied and pasted throughout the map. I can't tell you how many instances of deja vu I had, running up multiple flights of stairs to the top floor of a building. The map does have a ton of verticality, and often being up on the rooftops is a much better position than down on the ground. There are even jump pads spread all over the ground, making it easier to get up on the buildings, although having mobility hacks is still a must in my opinion. I pretty much always try to run slam, or if I'm unable to find slam, I'll settle for teleport. Jumping from building to building with the various mobility hacks is pretty fun though, I'm not gonna lie. Along with your standard last man or squad standing to win in a battle royale, Hyper Scape introduces a crown that spawns once you are in the final area. If you grab and hold this crown for 45 seconds, you can automatically win the game, and the only way to take a crown off an enemy is to eliminate them. I am both for and against this mechanic. On one hand, it really speeds up the endgame, as you never just have people camping around waiting to be pushed out of their building, which is good. On the other hand though, trying to kill a squad with the crown while another squad shoots at you can be pretty aggravating. In theory, as more players realize what's going on and realize that you need to take out the squad with the crown, I imagine squads will focus down the crown, but regardless, this can be pretty frustrating at the moment. As of writing and recording this video, the game consisted of a regular 3-person squad mode along with a limited time solo mode that makes the map all foggy. The gameplay in this game actually suits solos pretty well, however the fog turned me off from playing a lot, but I won't gripe on this too much as it is clearly in there as a limited time mode, so I think they're going to use these spots to try a ton of different things, whether it's specific weapons, map effects, hacks, etc., to just try and offer varied gameplay. While foggy solos, as I'm calling them, because that's a better name than dark haze isn't my jam, I am a big fan of games doing wacky and limited time modes, so it's cool to see the foundation for that already there. If for some reason you care, the game does have customization in the form of emotes, skins, etc. through your favorite thing, a battle pass. I honestly just can't be bothered to care about battle passes anymore, so just know it exists, and if you care about it, you can check it out. During the tech test, it is all free, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some form of a paid version upon launch, as this is a free-to-play game. Overall, Hyper Scape is a pretty fun game, even if it took me a while to warm up to it. My only issue is, even though it clearly does some things to set itself apart, I'm not really sure it does enough to hold a player base. Hyper Scape reminds me of the many MOBAs like Paragon that came out after the MOBA craze was dying down and the genre was really established. While Paragon was a good game and had its own unique spin on the genre, it just could not do enough to pull players from the big dogs, and I could see this being an issue for Hyper Scape. Personally, I'm not that huge of a Battle Royale player at this point anyways, but even for me, if I do want to play a Battle Royale, I'd probably just go play Apex or Warzone over this, especially if that's what my friends are on anyways. Earlier, I briefly mentioned how the weapon meta can get stale too, and I think this is going to be another issue for the game. Seeing the same 2 to 3 weapons and the same 2 to 4 hacks every game in the late game is only fun for so long. Although to be fair, that isn't a problem that is 100% unique to this game. So now we just wait and see what changes are made and what Ubisoft can do to keep players coming back, as Hyper Scape is intriguing. But is it intriguing enough in the long term, or will it be the next game on the long list of dead battle royales slain by the big dogs? As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to catch me wreck noobs live, you can follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Arrrash with 3 R's, and if that isn't enough me for you, you can also follow me on Twitter at Arrrash with 4 R's. With that said, I'll see you guys next time.